we're going into game number 2, Neeb versus Zest.
뉴 게티즈버그로 떠납니다.
Here we are on set number 2 for this best of 3, and down on the bottom right, winning that first one, it is Neeb.
And his opponent to the bottom left in green, it is Zest. Goes for an aggressive proxy in game 1, it fails. Transitions very well, but at the end of the day, Neeb is prepared for every eventuality. Great controls, looking at the stalkers. Notice how little damage Zest was able to find with his Oracle. He was really banking on that to get him back into the game, but Neeb never for a moment allowed that to happen.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It's not too often we get to see a foreign player come into a group like this heavily stacked. Zest, Rogue, and Beyond have been just huge heavy hitters in the Korean scene at certain points in time. Yes, of course, Beyond probably on the best form, but Zest looking good today as well. Rogue, we'll see how he does in the losers match, but Neeb is really just on fire. I love how comfortable he looks, how happy he looks in the booth. And Zest is going to have to really just dig through his brain for some kind of way to come back and win 2 in a row against this guy that is so good in the matchup of PvP.
You know, it's absolutely, you know, there's a high chance Zest can do it. You know, if anyone can do it, it's this player who's 2-time GSL champion, just such an incredible record in Pro League as well. Just how he finds his way here, would be able to make it work. And remember, with Zest, a lot of those wins were in the Protoss matchup. He started off this season so solid. At the end of the season, he was falling off a little bit, but I think this could go to game 3. I'd love to see it. See how Neeb wants to play it so far. Pretty solid standard opening from both sides. 2 adept opening. Very common on this map.
If you guys remember, this is the map that Zest did go for the cannon rush against Trap. It did not work. I hope to never really see that again. Maybe in a couple of years, if that is still viable. But jokes aside, we do see the Stargate coming out here for Zest.
Let's see who wins this adept fight in the middle of the map. I mean, these guys are literally a mirror. Nice symmetry drawn between. Neeb gets the first shot, and they're just gonna shade past each other. So scouting parties ongoing here. Neeb with the 2 stalkers about to pop out. Zest did make a pylon on the low ground. Neeb is gonna deny the scout here. The pylon on the low ground is gonna take some damage, obviously, and this mothership core will as well. Commits to trying to get a probe kill there, will not. Don't forget, Neeb also denied here, and Mothership Core is not even able to enter the base at all. Oh, sick remake here. Now he needs to be careful with this Mothership Core. It's taking a lot of damage. He's going to commit to scouting the Stargate.
He doesn't see it. Very crucial scout that he is going to miss, and something small that we've been noticing in both of these games is that Neeb is getting very slightly ahead in probe counts. Last time it was 24 to 23. This time it's 25 to 23 for a while. Now 25 to 24. But just a small indicator. You know, Zest trying to go for you know, techs early on, whereas Neeb very heavily focused on getting a big economy. You see, he is going to get that Nexus up first as well. Now the next course of action is taking as little damage against this Oracle tech as possible, and he doesn't even know it's coming.
Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. He does have good pylons here just in case of that eventuality. There we go, 75 energy. Oh, Stalker's in position here as well. Zest might not even turn it on. Runs away. And Neeb with a much faster Nexus and a good defense here.
Yeah, you know, you can see he's looking for units, for probes. He is going to have to kill this pylon as well. It looks like he let that gateway finish, in fact. And that's going to supply block him, and he has a big, big bank here in this game. Neeb. Still no second Nexus, and that Oracle got 0 damage. He's making a second Oracle as well, but Neeb is very well prepared for the first one. So,
I mean, Neeb is massively ahead. I can't even overstate it. He's up 13 supply, but let's talk about what kind of supply that is. He has a much faster Nexus, which is now completing. He's up 3 workers versus an Oracle opening. He has a larger army, which means he has control of this game. He has the faster tech to Immortals, which is going to be the valuable tech that you want. He's constantly scouting. Sees this second Oracle here. He's like, oh wow, Zest committed even more gas to these Oracles, which means he's transitioning even slower. Warps another Stalker, pylons in position. Zest is trying to crack a Foreigner that will never be cracked, I feel. I mean, his defenses are some of the most solid we've ever seen this year.
Yeah, this looks like Trap defense.
Yeah.
You know, Trap is one of the best at defending any kind of harassment, and Neeb looks even a step above that at this point. You know, you could say some mistakes here definitely have been made by Zest. I mean, that pylon block, not canceling the extra gateway, kind of just getting in there. He's going to find some damage, though, coming into the natural. Just 3 probes. About as much as you can find in this position, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. Very well said. 3 probes is godlike when you're at this position in the game. Forge is going up for both. Even Zest trying to take that risk, but Neeb is 1 step ahead of him. He's already got his Forge coming up too. By the time the second Immortal comes out, Zest's first robotics, you know, his robot will just be finishing. Does not commit to this shade, obviously would basically just be bleeding units at that point, trying to force economy damage. And he's going to try it again. Obviously not going to commit.
You can see he's trying to block the shades with his own adept. It's so cute.
And finds some more damage here with the Oracles while these units come in. So he's trying to draw the army away. And then, you know, do that Oracle harass, cancel here. And very effective harass overall from Zest. It's evened up the supplies. And it's just kind of forcing that splitting there, playing tennis with Neeb a little bit. Works out pretty well. Neeb adding a lot of gateways here.
This time he's going to be prepared. Zest hasn't commit to the shade. I think it would not be a good idea to go for that regardless, but kind of cute that, you know, the block that he's going for with the shade with the zone 1 adept. Committing pretty heavily to a high number of Stalkers at this point in time. Still no Resonating Glaives tech on the way.
Ooh, Stalkers get Blink, and oh, the control here! Dodges with his first Stalkers, kills an Oracle with a counter Blink, and he just added 4 gates. He could commit to an attack here. Decides to take the 3rd base instead.
Very confident, you know. He's like, oh, I could try to blink out on the map, get very aggressive. He sees no 3rd base yet for Zest. He's like, let me just get ahead, you know, get a 3rd base, get a robotics bay up. And he's just getting further and further ahead. It's like the Artosis mentality, right?
Yeah.
He's doing it very well here. We do see Zest is going to add that Templar Archives first.
Probably going to be, at this stage of the game, I imagine, for a Storm Drop. He's not hiding it, which is, you know, really traditionally how we see Storm Drops used in this matchup. If he's trying to get early Archons, it feels like too early of an investment to that amount of gas. If he doesn't get Storm, then obviously he will have the ability to make Archons, but I don't think he'll do it right away. He'll do it, you know, once he starts to have that gas surplus when he's down on minerals.
The other part,
denying these scouts so incredibly well.
Yeah. The other thing that we could see is just instead of Storm Drops, or you could do Storm Drop into just Storm in your composition. We've been seeing that a lot more with the very heavy Adept play that we see in PvP. It's just fantastic against those Adepts and just the bunched up army of the Protoss in general. But for now, he hasn't used it, in fact. No Storm, no High Templar, no Archons.
I guess he's just leaving the tech available. Continuing to scout here. We do have disruptors on both sides coming out, but also I do want to point out that Zest is making a Phoenix, and I'm wondering what that's really good for. I suppose it will shut down Warp Prism Harass decently. Let's see what he decides to use that for. I guess, yeah, just gonna... Oh, or is he gonna try to switch into Phoenixes? That would be pretty crazy. I think he's just gonna try to use it to stop Prisms. 2 Phoenixes will kill a Prism faster than 1. Let's see how many he commits to. He's obviously not hit a 3rd Stargate, or excuse me, a 2nd Stargate yet. Now to get 3rd and 4th Phoenix.
And in fact, we don't see the Disruptor tech here just yet for Zest. He's just going for that very heavy Immortal Phoenix count. And I think what he's going to do is he's identified the second he saw that robotics bait, he switched into Phoenixes. So I think what we're going to see here is just a very strong Immortal Archon, you know, type of Protoss army, and he's going to go in and try to lift all the Disruptors and just go for the attack just like that.
It looks like it. I mean, he's gearing up for that kind of push, it looks like.
Because it's a very expensive tech to go make the robotics bay and then make those very expensive Disruptors. And if you can just lift them literally out of the game and go for the attack like that, well, then you're going to be in a great spot.
Zest got the Forge a little bit later, or excuse me, a little bit faster than Neeb, but how the difference in their +2 right now is actually huge. Like, it's much larger than their Forge build time, so Zest hits that a lot faster. I feel like if he knew he had this huge window to hit with +2 over the +1, he might go now. But he's waiting. He's you know, slowly gearing up for this push. I don't know if he has a Prism, but he doesn't have one with his army right now, which obviously makes the push a lot harder to execute. You can't reinforce it. As you guys can see here, no Prism. And he scouts the comp. He knows how many units there are. I think he's really gearing up to attack pretty soon, whereas Neeb is really just trying to out-multitask these Korean players. And we saw it with the Warp Prisms, now we're seeing it with the Blink Stalkers. You almost never will even get a single unit in situations like this, but he's giving it a go, you know, while he has nothing else to do while he's macroing at home.
Yeah, very true, and we do see that second robotics facility coming up for Neeb. He has switched back into Immortals. It looks like just 3 Disruptors in this composition. It looks like he wants to go into that more just bulky Protoss army with the Archons, with the Immortals, instead of those Disruptors. I'm not sure if he saw those Phoenixes. I don't believe so.
I don't think he's had any way to, until this moment in time.
But it's going to be very beneficial that he switched out of Disruptors just because of the lifts against those Disruptors.
Absolutely. The Archons are going to do great against the Phoenixes, but while they're doing that, they won't be attacking the ground army. And he has a decent amount of anti-air here. Look at the Stalker count you can see here as well. He's going to deny the Scout, even use a Blink there. He has good vision, he has an Observer, he has an Oracle. And Zest just kind of, he looked like he was gearing up to attack. He may still do so with +3, but he just hasn't moved out. And he's taken a slightly later 4th base than what Neeb has taken. Neeb is getting his gases up a little bit faster. The +3 is nearly done though. This is Zest's a huge opportunity to find that damage. Neeb making 2 more Disruptors now. The more Disruptors you have, the harder it really is to multitask them and actually get value. But if you lose one, it's always good to have more. So you need to make sure you're split and they don't get picked off by your opponent's Disruptor shots.
Yeah.
In this case, Zest isn't really making that, so a different situation.
And
here.
if you think about the differences in micro, nice cannon, by the way, here to try to help deny these Adepts.
Oh man, he's going to do a brave thing and use a Disruptor for defense on his probes. It gives me anxiety.
But if you consider the micro of Phoenixes versus Disruptors, for the Phoenixes you can just kind of like shift-click lift on all the Disruptors and like let them be. They're going to die eventually, but it's really just to disrupt the Disruptors, right? Whereas with the Disruptors, you need to control them all individually. This is a really nice run by with a healthy number of Adepts coming in here. Snipes an Immortal.
Yep, now he's going to go and kill his cannon and kill a ton of probes. Only 1 Archon here to defend. This is going to force Zest home. Neeb correctly identified that Zest just had his army over there on the watchtower for so long, was never moving it, and scouted enough to realize, okay, you're just not moving. Now I think he's going to go into Tempest Tech here, coming up pretty soon. He gets his own Stargate, and is adding just more and more Archons in. If they never attack each other, which this happens a lot on this map, you will eventually want to get Tempest Tech out, and sometimes for some Protoss carriers. There's the Fleet Beacon.
And is Zest going to go for the attack now? One thing, when you lose that many probes, you get just that many more army units, and that's really going to help out when it comes down to one big fight. Another shade in here. We do see about 6 cannons coming down in a line. Even more than that, going to go up to 8.
Now look at this,
trying to defend this attack.
He's getting a lot of damage done here. Okay, the Shades come over. If he commits to these, he's going to regret it. He's definitely going to cancel it, unless he decides to kill Workers instead. This is going to split Neeb into 2 directions. He does cancel. And dodges that Purification Nova. All the cannons will finish.
I think a good idea. You know, that Shade was looking to end up around where all the Archons were. Definitely not the best position. Let's see if he commits this time.
Okay, here comes the first Purification Nova. Does get killed or lifted here. So much damage being done right now. The Shades do commit over here. So many Archons were not able to get to this army, but Neeb wins this fight. Now he just needs to go back and defend. Don't forget, he has Tempest Tech coming up here soon as well. So if he defends this, he's just massively ahead in every way.
He wins the big fight. He wins the important fight. Look at this. He blocks with the Shades. He doesn't allow all these Adepts to get up into the main.
What a crazy, crazy series this has turned out to be. Neeb just dominates one of our best Korean players, a 2-time GSL champion. He is going to win this 2-0. It starts to look like Zest doesn't have much of a transition point. He has no Disruptors of his own. He has no Archons. All he has is Adepts, and they're going to be killed so quickly here by the Archons of Neeb.
And now he's just on the run, and even on the back of it, he's making 2 Tempests, 2 Disruptors. He is so far ahead in that tech. And we see Zest just making more Phoenixes. He doesn't really know what he wants to make at this point. Not going to be very good against a very high Archon count that is still left over.
I mean, the fact that he has Tempest on the way just really tells the story. So many Disruptors left over. Can never get on top of those Disruptors because of all these Archons. Zest just has to, I think, come to terms with the fact that he will not be getting out of this group in first place. He's going to try to fight this. No, definitely not.
He sees up there, immediately cancels. He's like, oh, no, definitely not. Tempest out on the map. And Neeb is just so patient with this, too. He takes such a huge win in that fight. He dominates where it matters, taking out all the very high-tech units. And, you know, he defends against the Adepts at the same time. And now he's like, no, I can just max out.
Mothership on the way. I think what Zest's idea here is, the concept he's looking for is, his army is less mobile than mine. Perhaps if I have enough Adepts, I can just run over the Tempest, run over the army, just kill a bunch of probes, slow Neeb down, and win a longer, super longer game. I mean, this game is not over, right? I jokingly said Zest's going to have to come to terms with the fact he's not getting out of this group in first place. He could still win, technically,
yeah,
right?
You know, it is possible, but very unlikely.
When you look at these two armies, which army wins the fight? It's Neeb's 100%. But if Zest can somehow, with this huge amount of Adepts, shade into like 4 different locations, kill probes, slow Neeb down, perhaps that's how he gets back into this game. But if he has to fight a straight-up fight, I don't think he can do it. And the Tempest count is getting higher and higher. He's up to 4 already.
Yeah, we've seen stranger things happen, Wolf.
We really have.
It's. I love the cannons as well. We don't really see that from the Korean pros, and that really comes down to the creativity, the quick thinking that we see out of some of these foreign pros, where he's like, I think I need this right now, I'm just going to go for it. You know, maybe someone else like Zest would have just added in 8 more Adepts, but he was maxed out at the time. He's like, okay, I know he's going to attack, let me add this in. That really helped him win the fight. I think he would have won it regardless, but having 5 cannons shooting as well really just, you know, secured that win.
He just knows what needs to be done. He's kind of freestyling in that way, and I mean, when you look at this situation, I do feel like Zest, he played a great game, but Neeb just countered everything he was doing, and Zest was trying so hard in both games 1 and 2 to force damage and force Neeb to make a mistake, and Neeb didn't make even one mistake in defending. 3 robots coming up for Zest. This is what Zest does with his extra metal, so make more robots and make more gateways, but he makes cannons because he knows he just has to defend this one push, he gets ahead. And I mean, this is a crazy powerful army. It's when we do the supply, it's like, well, he's only up 10 supply. Well, he's up about a bajillion resources in cost and value in this army. 9 Archons to 5, 8 Tempests, 9 Disruptors, a Mothership. He has +2 on the way for areas, +2 shields on the way. What do you want? I mean, Zest, how is he going to come back in this game? He wants to try to overwhelm this army, this slow army. That has a ton of expensive units. He's going to just try to run by, maybe base trade.
Maybe he base trades. You know, Neeb is committing heavily to killing this 4th base, and Zest sees that army, and he knows that if he attacks this army, if he fights this army, he 100% of the time loses. But he's going to try to go for the base trade. Neeb very smartly kills the 4th base, recalls immediately, and will go head-to-head with Zest's army.
Now Zest can't fight this anymore. He has to go home. But he goes home down an Nexus, and that's a problem. He doesn't have the bank that Neeb has.
GG!
Neeb is moving on to the round of 8 in first place in what many consider to be the group of death here in the KeSPA Cup. And I myself am shaken not only by the hypeness of him getting out in first place, but the fact that I'm going to have to translate on Korean TV his interview.
Good luck, Wolf. I'll help you out there, but really this is the Neeb show tonight. Doesn't drop a single set. Rocks Rogue's world, okay? Many will argue, okay, Rogue didn't go for the best builds, but Neeb made it look so unbelievably easy. And then he outplays Zest in 2 very, you know, just straight up games, longer games. He just outplays him. And he is going out first place because he deserves it. And he is going to have to stick his hand in the box.
It's kind of more chance-based here. You can see Young's hand shaking. She's shaken.
She's shook, man.
Right.
Everybody's shook. Let's see.
Take that ball. B.
You can even see Neeb's hand shaking a bit as well. The energy kind of taking over here.
Yeah.
And he does go into Group B. He will be, of course, B1 because he did get out in first place. So, guys, we are going to be right back with the interview and the losers match. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.